Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Dom That show. My name is Dominique Pereira. Well, you know me as Ask Dom That. Come on in. On today's show, we have an amazing agenda. And of course, you know that every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 a.m., this is the fastest 30 minutes of your day to make you seem and be a smarter and better person. So, what's on the agenda today? Let's get it. All right, December 22nd rundown. On today's show, we're going to be talking about ghost jobs. If you are in the job market, you know that there is something weird and funky going on. This might be explaining it to you. We're also going to be talking about some Robotaxi stuff down in San Francisco that happened this weekend. It's a great indicator to some of the new types of problems that we're just going to have to solve and get used to. There may be a new market available out there for all my entrepreneurs. And on top of that, there's a question from the audience. Is there an AI bubble? The answer to that very brief, short, and lovely, and complex, concise, duplicative, and singular, all at the same time. So, is there an AI bubble? My thoughts on that. We're gonna get to it. First thing first, ghost jobs. Should more, this is an article from the BBC this weekend. Should more be done to tackle ghost jobs, vacancies that don't exist? All right, so that kind of explains what a ghost job is. It's self explanatory. It is when you go on the job market, there are vacancies there. Hey, we're hiring for this position. We want you to apply. You go through all the work and the effort, and guess what? They're really not hiring. The job doesn't fully or really exist. If you've been having this problem, if you've had this problem, please let me know. Because it seems like when you go on Indeed, when you go on LinkedIn, wherever your job boards are, there are a plethora of jobs. There's a bunch of jobs, but people aren't getting called back. All right. So here's some interesting stats on these ghost jobs. Up to 22% of the jobs advertised online last year were position listed with no intent to hire. And another study showed that that number was even higher at 34%. Now, here's what do these numbers really mean? Further on down the article, it says that 7.2 million job vacancies back in August. This is 1 month. This isn't the year, but 7.2 million job vacancies back in August, and only 5.1 million people were hired. There were 2 million jobs left unattended. And you know that there's qualified people applying for these jobs. So now let's talk about it. Okay, welcome to a Monday where I am affirming your reality. If you are in the job market and you're saying, I'm applying, I'm trying, and I'm not getting hired, it's because there are ghost jobs out there that are not hiring people. Companies are padding their stats. They're saying, we're hiring, we're growing. Here are the applications, but they're not hiring. They're just putting the jobs out there. Why? Here's a reason why a company would do this. One, they just want to harvest and collect data. They're data farming. They want to put a list of employees and applicable people and applicants together so that they can hire them in the future if ever they do grow. They want to get you in their cycle so that you can say, hey, look, I'm interested. We're not really ready for you, but thank you for your information. Or they can sell that information. I'm cynical. They can sell it. They have all your information. They have your email, where you've worked, your address. They have a lot of information about you. Somebody is willing to pay for that information. So if they put out a job saying that, hey, we're hiring for a $180,000 position, how many people are going to apply for that? Oh, well, we don't have $180,000, but we got 180,000 people applying for this job. Now we can sell that newsletter to a newsletter company. We can sell that to wherever. So ghost jobs are a real thing. But here's on the contrary, where I feel sorry for you, but now I'm challenging you. So what? We know we cannot trust these institutional companies. You cannot rely on companies to say, hey, we have this beautiful job out. You know it's a tough job market. Come join our company. We're a family. They're not. They don't care about you. The best way to fill positions in these jobs is to be more qualified than everybody else. Are you upskilling? How are you presenting yourself to the jobs that are hiring? Really, my takeaway that I wanted to get out of this message is that, yes, it's a more challenging job market, but it's not impossible. The reality is that life today in 2025, now 2026 in a couple of days, is very different than it was in 1995. Everything that we do, it's been touched by technology, advancements, whatever. But are you still just typing away your resume and sending it off, hoping that somebody will read it? As somebody who hires, as somebody who's owned my own firm, as somebody who's been a director and on the board of firms, I'll tell you, I hate interviewing. I hate looking at resumes. It's the same thing over and over. People's mission statements, their school history. It's a stack this big. And HR reminds me that legally I can't discriminate. Yeah, well, I'm like, this person sounds cool to work with. Is that discrimination? Or I'll look people up on Facebook. I'll look them up on Instagram. If I got to spend 8 hours with you every day, you might as well be a fun person. I mean, at least my definition of fun, all right? We don't need you to be fun in a way that gets our company sued or canceled or in any way. But just like, okay, this guy's personable. Don't be weird. And a lot of you guys are weird on social media. And I don't know how you think that somebody's going to hire you. So don't be weird. Now, if you're not going to be weird, be eccentric, be cool, be enlightening, be educative. How can you present yourself more than the person just giving, here's a piece of paper with my resume? Nobody cares about this. It's a lot of words to read. I guarantee you, imagine if you use ChatGPT, you know, when it gives you a long draft of an email or something, and you don't even read it all. You just copy and paste it. You don't even read it. Imagine that, but for 1,000 pieces of paper from people that you don't even know, like, or care about. You just have to do it because it's your job. That's what reading resumes is. So how do you stand out? How do you really excel? But if you're working at a warehouse, how do you learn the new AI technologies? How do you learn cybersecurity? This stuff is online, a lot of it for free. And not only learn it, but now how do you present a project? And we're going to get to this at the end of the Is There an AI Bubble? I have something to show you guys, so stick around for that. How do you present a project to say, yeah, forget my resume. Here's what I've done. Like, I can show you. Here's this application that I built, if that's what you're going towards. Here's a cybersecurity, implementation that I've worked on. Here's my channel on YouTube dedicated to cybersecurity. That's how you fill these vacancies, guys. Stop depending on the stats in these HR departments, because you're right. They were lying to you. There is a gap in the wage and the job market. And there are ghost jobs. So you're not crazy. You're just unemployed. All right, let's go to the next one. Waymo suspends service in San Francisco after driverless cars caused traffic jams during a blackout. Let's look at these videos, guys.
Waymo's self-driving cars were put on pause by the company after the autonomous vehicles were baffled by the lack of traffic lights, getting stuck at intersections.
Car company owned by Google. These cars are just stopped. Look at that. They're just stopped. So there was a power outage. All right, good. Get it off. It's a power outage out of San Francisco. Problem numero uno. And then because of that power outage, the Waymo vehicles were looking at the street lights and they couldn't figure out what to do next. And the problem with that is that Waymo AI, self-driverless, is completely self-driverless. They do like crazy amount of Uber rides. If you're out of San Francisco, if you're out of Austin, you've seen this is part of normal life. If you're out of Kansas or Illinois, you're probably like, what? Cars driving by themselves now? What are women going to be voting next? What? But this is the new reality. But now what are the problems with it? The cars are idiots. They're the dumbest of the dumbest drivers. They're froze. It's not their fault, right? There was layers of failure. There was a fire over at a power plant that occurred. That power plant stopped energy for 150,000 houses and areas. So it wasn't Waymo's complete fault. But now, because of that power plant failure, the street lights and the blah 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 weren't working, and then it was just an overextension. Waymo couldn't connect to the internet and the off grid. So we just have to be prepared for these problems. What opportunity is there for you to solve this problem in the future? How much of a problem is this going to be when there are major power outages in New York City or Los Angeles, and half of the cars, they love their electric cars. Oh, we hate Elon Musk. We hate Elon Musk, but we love our Teslas. We love self-driving because driving is too hard. Whatever. But I like the concept of driving or self-driving. I really do. If I could do that with my truck, I've been looking at those Ford electric cars. And why does self-driving cars just have to be electric? Why can't it just be regular gas combustible self-driving? Another topic for a different day. Don't hate me. Earth lovers. Oh, gasoline. Oh, no. For some reason, I would get electric self-driving car only because I'm cheap. And for some reason, when I'm seeing how much I pay every month for gas, it's incredible. So long story short, Waymo, with that outage, it's really proven, all right, what happens when there is a systematic failure? Well, the cars freeze up. Take that for what it's worth. And that might just be the price we have to pay. Maybe we're okay with this. Just to give you some insight here, how many rides does Waymo do a month? All right, how many or a week in San Francisco? Let me see here. I saw a stat that said that they did over, if I can find it, 400. It was an incredible amount of numbers. Maybe somebody could find that for me. How many rides did Waymo do in San Francisco or in California, on average last month or throughout the week? It was like 400,000 or something weird like that. But it's a problem that's going to scale. It's going to be a solution. It's going to be a market that wasn't available before. Now, how can you make money? If you follow me, if you're in the, tell me, please send me a message. Dom, here's how we would solve this problem. And I can guarantee you we can get it to market. I can guarantee you that's how entrepreneurship is made. Solving problems. Self-driving cars freeze up. They become idiots. And last month, Waymo did 450,000 rides. 450,000. That's money that you can't imagine. I don't care if you're selling self-driver insurance. Market that never existed. But maybe after this show, I'll start that agency. Everybody's always trying to sell me insurance. And if you're watching, you know who you are. I love you. But always trying to sell me insurance. So actually, 450,000 a week. A week. That wasn't even last month. That was just last week. So the numbers are astronomical. I love the fact that we're coming up with these challenges. It's a new, no matter what technology ever comes out, there's going to be challenges with it. And we're going to somebody knows Starlink is a solution. Starlink is a solution. Maybe. And then Lena, they call them getaway modes. I love that. But Lena hates them. It depends if they're going to drive the cost of rides down. If they drive the cost of rides down, I don't know. But also, there are a lot of weird, creepy Uber drivers. That's been the biggest problem. I didn't like taxis originally because I always thought that they were stealing from me. The taxi rate will go from $3, all of a sudden it's $6, and then when you end a ride, it says like $13.50, but they press a button that goes up to $24. And I'm like, tell me, I don't trust you. You don't. I don't know. Let me not get too personal here, but You don't seem trustworthy in this car, and it's sketchy. It's whatever. Uber kind of solved that, and then people started not realizing that Uber is a job. They got chips everywhere, blah blah blah, and then of course there's safety issues. I'm a black man, so as much as I'm fearing for myself in the back seat, the person driving is probably scared of me too. We're both in this car terrified at 11:30 p.m. while I try to go downtown Austin. And then I'm like, shoot, I'm like, oh, we don't trust each other. Maybe that's the best way to have relationships with people. All right, guys, let's go on to the next topic of the day is the AI bubble. I've been asked this a lot. Is AI a bubble? We're coming up on our show. But you guys got to get to work. You got to get to work. So I'm gonna make this short and brief and lovely. Is AI a bubble? Yes, it is. It is a bubble, like every industry is a bubble. Back in the 1800s, was the horse and carriage a bubble? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Back in when Thomas Edison came out with I think he did AC power. Alternating current versus did he do alternating? He did DC. I think he did DC power. Tesla did alternating. That was a bubble. It got better. It doesn't matter. You're too broke to be concerned about the bubble. You're broke. Your money and my money won't affect it at all. All it matters is that you ride that bubble. You ride that wave, and you jump off before it explodes. France was a bubble. There was a French Revolution. Remember Germany in 1945? Nazis. That was a bubble. Some people succeeded in their agenda to propagate whatever, and then eventually it collapsed. Bubbles are system. So let's just talk about what is a bubble. What is a financial bubble? And guess what? I even, before I give y'all false information, I even went online. A stock market bubble is when stock prices soar above their actual fundamental value due to extreme investor optimism, speculation, and hype, like a get-rich-quick scheme, quote, creating a speculative frenzy followed by a sudden, sharp, and crash, and reality sets in and everybody tries to sell. So there's a couple things there. There's the fundamental value. Is there a fundamental value that comes into AI? Yes, it does. I love everything that I'm seeing in AI, and I'm excited for it because it is adding fundamental value, and I'm going to show you why. Is there what is the true value when they say what is the actual value and investor optimism? Why shouldn't we be optimistic? Everybody's saying AI is a bubble. I'm saying it might be, but we're nowhere near the pop yet. And even if it does pop, if NVIDIA goes away tomorrow, how's that really going to affect your life? Right? Are you on the board of NVIDIA? And on the other side, if Google triples its worth, how is that going to affect your life? You don't own that much Google stock unless I got some. Let me see who's watching, right? Unless I got some hedge fund guys on here. But the reality is that what we need to carve out is the value part. How are you using it? Use this freaking bubble, ride the wave, buy these stocks, invest. Freaking honestly, please, for the love of God, create your own AI app. There's somebody out there with a ton of money willing to pump it into this bubble. Be part of the problem. Do it. Create more value. Now, this isn't legal or financial advice, right? Don't say, hey, ask Domnat told me to be part of the problem, so I am. I'm a bad child now in the AI world. But let me tell you why I don't believe that it's a real speculative problem and bubble. Because it's solving problems. I have a farm. As a matter of fact, not to brag, but I picked an egg. I actually never, I don't have a successful farm. I have a problematic farm, but there is something very gratifying about picking, collecting your own eggs. There is, even though they're the most expensive eggs that you can get, that the farm is a bubble. But either way, I have a farm, and my farm this weekend was giving me all sorts of problems and grief. because I have livestock. We're growing coffee. I have acres of corn and just all sorts of things, all sorts of stuff, right? And I have a lot that I need to manage, but that's just a side project, right? I'm a gentleman. It's not a side project because it's a real growing thing, but I wouldn't call it an enterprise. It's not profitable. So I need to be very, very careful. Hey, good morning. It's Fireball 619. Now, all of a sudden, I have these problems at the farm that I cannot solve. What are my problems? How much money am I investing into this thing? Every day, I feel like I'm just sending money. And what am I growing? Where am I? I'm gonna shoot. You guys follow Ask Dom that because I'm gonna post pictures of our harvest. It feels like nothing's ever growing. It's always almost grown, but never like, wow, it's grown. So what did I do? I was looking for a software to track this stuff, and I couldn't find it, guys. I couldn't find a farm software. Farmers are not application developers, apparently. Wait, I am. I'm an application developer. I'm a farmer. I don't have that much time. Dang, I wish I could have a tool that I could use to build my own farm software. AI. So, guys, I built this weekend this application. It's called Agripanzu. Why did I name it that? Well, I couldn't find a better domain. But Agripanzu is a software that I just built this weekend that allows me to track my fields and my plots, my crop library, right? Like this is the demo farm, but I have my other farms in here and test farms, whatever. But just going through my demo farm, it allows me to track ledgers and payrolls. I have this is the demo account, but my feeding plans, daily checklist, health logs of my animals and the mortality rates, tasks, everything that I needed and wanted done. I was able to build this and start using it in 3 days. In 3 days. As somebody who's had an application development company for 13 years, I tell you that is absolutely insane and crazy. What I was able to do in 3 days would have cost me about $40,000 in 5 or 6 months to do. And I still, in like a lot of meetings. But now this is 3 days. Now all I have to do is, all right, I'm using it at my farm. I need to make it better. Give me another 2 days. I'm 5 days in. Now I'm just phone calling other small farms. Hey, would you like to use this? Hey, I have this. How much? I don't know. Just pay me what you can. Donation-based model. I don't care. You can get creative when you own stuff, guys. So is it a bubble? No, because I'm creating value. I'm creating real world value, guys. And that's why it might be a bubble. But who cares? Just take part of it. Take part in it. Carve your own niche. And you're already doing the first and probably the best thing that you'll do all day, which is you tuned into the show. And for that, you are smarter at 30 minutes now than you were 30 minutes ago. You are smarter now than you were 30 minutes ago because you watched the Ask Dom That show. And I will see you on Wednesday at 8 a.m. Thank you, guys.